Okay then, outcome 2. Outcome 2 is all about different shapes. It's about calculating areas, perimeters, volumes and surface areas of simple shapes. Okay, we're going to have a look at rectangles, circles, cuboids and cylinders. The only formula you'll get given in the assessment is the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h. The rest you'll be expected to remember. Okay, so looking at a rectangle, you have a rectangle's length times the breadth. The perimeter, you add up the sides. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Perimeter or circumference of the circle is pi d. For a cuboid, the surface area is 2 lots of the length times the width plus the width times the height plus the length times the height, and the volume is length times width times height. Okay, let's put this into practice then. So first of all, what is the perimeter of a shape? The perimeter of the shape is the distance round the outside. So if you imagine walking round the shape, then that would give you the perimeter. The circle's got a special name for its perimeter. The perimeter of a circle is called the circumference. Okay, let's try something. So I want to find the perimeter of this shape. I won't worry too much about a formula when we're looking at the perimeter. What we're doing when we're finding the perimeter is we're adding up our distances around the outside. So we're doing 20, add 15, add 20, add 15. So imagine you're starting at one corner and you're walking all the way around. Because it's a rectangle, the opposite sides are the same. So to find the perimeter, I do 20, add 15, add 20, add 15, 20 add 15 is 35, double that gives me 70 millimeters. Circumference of a circle, or the perimeter of the circle, is given by the formula C equals pi d. Now, just as a wee quick reminder, if we've got a circle, any line at all that goes from one edge to the other through the centre is called the diameter. Any line that goes from the centre to the edge of the circle is called the radius, and the radius is half the diameter. Okay, so what we're interested in is the bit all the way around the outside. We've got this formula here, C equals pi d. Now d in this stands for the diameter. Pi is a mathematical constant. Pi is just a number. It's a button on your calculator as well, so you can use the pi button on your calculator. On my calculator, it is this button here. So I need to do shift and then the pi button. If I hit equals, if I press this button here, it will get me it as a decimal. What we can tend to use for pi, deviation 3.14. Okay, so having a look at this example here then. Here I've got a radius of 9 millimeters for my circle. To work out my circumference, I need to know the diameter. The diameter is twice the radius, so my diameter is 18 millimeters. So to find my circumference, I'm going to do pi times 18. I'm going to use the pi button on my calculator, so pi times 18. You can just use 3.14 if you can't find that pi button. That comes out as 56.5486. And so on to 2 decimal places. That will be 56.55 millimeters. Okay, let's try another one. Calculate the outside length of this shape. Again, it's a circle. Circumference of a circle is C equals pi d. This time I've been given the line that goes through the centre from edge to edge. So the diameter here is 28 centimetres, so I don't need to worry about doubling it. So to find my circumference, I'm going to do pi times my diameter, which is 28. If you're using 3.14, just write 3.14 instead of pi. Pi times 28, which is 87.96459, which to 2 decimal places is 87.96 centimetres. Okay, let's have a look at the area as well then. Area of some different shapes. Area of a rectangle is the length times the breadth. Area of a square, because they're both the same length, will be the length times the length, which you can write as L squared if you prefer. You can also just use length times breadth. You won't get it marked wrong just by using an L instead of a B. It makes no difference. Area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. That should be a 2, not a scribble. I'll try that again. That's a bit better. Where r is the radius of the circle. Remember, the radius is the one that goes from the centre to the edge. Okay, let's try some of these then. Calculate the area of the rectangle. Area equals length times breadth. Doesn't matter which one's L, which one's B. It's going to be the same area, whether it's that way around or whether we tip it on its sides. It makes no difference. It's going to be 8 times 5, 8 5s, 40. What's your units here? Because it's an area, it's going to be millimetres squared. So it's going to be squared millimetres rather than just millimetres. Try one of a circle then. Area of a circle is pi r squared, where r is the radius. Just now I have here a diameter, because that goes right the way across the circle. So I've got a diameter of 15 centimetres. I want the radius. Radius is half the diameter, which is 7.5 centimetres. Now for my formula, I want the radius squared. When you square something, it means timesing it by itself. So here I want to do pi times 7.5 squared. If you're going to use the square button on your calculator, you can just write it that way. If you're not sure about that, 7.5 squared just means 7.5 times 7.5. That didn't work very well, did it? Try again. 7.5 squared. That comes out at 176.71 to 2 decimal places. Units again, it's not just centimetres because it's an area, it's centimetres squared, and as ever my 2's ended up looking like a scribble. There we go, that's better. Okay. Okay, we'll try one last one then. Area of the circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Here I'm given the radius because it goes from the centre to the edge. So my radius is 4 metres. So we're doing pi times 4 squared. Again, that just means times by itself. So it's pi times 4 times 4. Pi times 4 times 4 is 50.27 to 2 decimal places. Units, be metres squared. Well, that was a better 2 this time. Okay, I'll leave you to practice some of these.